I'm Dan Besse. I'm running for Lieutenant Governor, running for the Democratic nomination in 2008 for Lieutenant Governor. Some of you on Blue NC may have seen me before at one of the North Carolina Democratic Executive Committee meetings, such as in early 2003 when I sponsored the resolution that put the North Carolina Democratic Party on record opposing the invasion of Iraq before it happened. Or you may have seen me there when I was giving a report as the chair of the State Democratic Party's Study Committee on the Environment more recently. Or you may have seen me with one of my posts on Blue NC opposing the proposed location of the outlying landing field adjacent to one of the most important wildlife refuges on the East Coast. But you may not have had a chance to hear me tell you basically why I am running for Lieutenant Governor next year. I can answer that in two parts. First, why I'm in politics and public life and public service in the first place. And that comes down to two things that I'm absolutely passionate about in life. One is the stewardship of our environment, our clean air and water, our green land, and the public health that depends on that. That's why I've spent over 30 years now working with citizen conservation groups like the Conservation Council or the Coastal Federation or other groups that are actively involved in promoting the effective, wise stewardship of our natural resources and our environment. That's why I served for over 20 years on state boards and commissions, primarily concerned with protecting our clean air and our water and our coastal resources, including 12 years by appointment of Governor Hunt on the Environmental Management Commission. And why I'm on now the Climate Action Plan Advisory Group, helping to get North Carolina involved in doing our part of dealing with climate change. The second thing that I'm passionate about in public service is helping the less fortunate and seeing to it that everybody in our society has equal opportunity. That's why I spent a decade in Eastern North Carolina working as a legal aid attorney for poor families, helping people find help with their employment situation, with their poor housing situations. And that's why I'm so outraged today that we still have, in fact it's worse than it used to be, and today we have 1.4 million North Carolinians with no access to health care, no insurance, nothing. And that goes up when you look at minority communities. If it's 1 in 5 adults in North Carolina, it's almost 1 in 4 African American adults, and 2 out of 3 Hispanics living in North Carolina have no health care coverage at all, nothing, period. That's an outrage, and that's something we have the responsibility to act on. Another thing I'd like to say about why I'm running now for Lieutenant Governor next year. I've served on the Winston-Salem City Council now since 2001. I've managed to defeat an incumbent, a very right-wing Republican, and hold my office 4 years later against another very right-wing Republican challenger. And I've had the opportunity to work with other local government officials around North Carolina, other good Democrats like here in Charlotte, Raleigh, Chapel Hill, elsewhere, Nashville. And something that we see happening in North Carolina today that's important for the economy and the society of our state generally is also a critical sea change in the politics of our state. We've seen a dramatic growth in the population of North Carolina over the past couple of decades, and it's continuing. In fact, we're looking at about 40% more North Carolinians in a generation's time than we have today. So if we've got a little under 9 million people now, we're going to have 12 million people soon. And those people are disproportionately coming into our growing urban regions. We have a shift in North Carolina where for so many years, so many decades, chief executive positions in our state, the main leadership posts, have been taken almost exclusively by folks from our rural areas. And they're usually good people. They're usually doing their best to represent the people of our state and help us progress, but they have lacked almost uniformly the hands-on experience in dealing with the challenges of our growing urban areas. And if we're going to meet those challenges, frankly, that has to change. One of the things that I bring to this race, that I would bring to service as Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina, that other candidates, frankly, have not had, is hands-on experience in dealing with those challenges of our growing urban areas and an understanding of how we can work together from the state and the local level to move those challenges into opportunities for our future. I think we need that experience combined with the commitment to stewardship of our environment and social justice in state leadership. That's why I'd like to bring to the office of Lieutenant Governor in 2008. That's why I'm running. I'd appreciate your feedback. Thanks very much.